Congratulations to a positive November. Despite hitting market lows, the PH markets have improved significantly. Entering into December, let's look at some stocks with some promising technical setups. And for this week, let's use our screener to scan for some good names on the global markets. Let's discuss. My name is Dan Slim, and welcome to another episode of Monday Market Outlook. Our time at the top lasted just a week before we returned to our usual place near the bottom of the list, though the PSEI still managed to end the week slightly higher, gaining 0.4%. Net foreign selling was back in the negative with a total outflow of 3.2 billion. Year-to-date cumulative net foreign activity shows that foreign selling has actually picked up in November. Nonetheless, despite the continued net foreign outflows, the index stayed above the 6,000 mark, supported by strong local buying. Well, like they say, love your own, right? By week's end, it remained firmly above 6,000 as bargain hunting persisted, with gains seen in sectors such as mining, holdings, and the financial sectors. Perhaps we can finally see some inflows after a bit of good news last Friday. S&P reaffirmed the country's triple B plus credit rating, which could set us up for a potential A credit rating in the future, citing factors such as fiscal consolidation, stabilized debt levels, and a robust external position. Amidst the political circus and the tiring political noise, the index rallied 53 points last Friday to keep the markets above 6,000 coming into December. So if we look at the monthly charts, November broke a 4-month losing streak. So zooming further out, we can see the green monthly candle along this support area can hopefully be a sign that the markets can rally towards 6,100, then 6,300 by year end. But more optimistically, the monthly resistance level sits here across 6,390, though that would mean somewhere around a 6%, somewhere around a 6% rally from our current levels. But, that has happened before, so it's not outside the realm of possibility. Now, going to the weekly charts, we've hit the 20 EMA resistance and pulled back. But this is a very promising formation as the market moved along the range here at 5,930 and 6,070. Now, the 6,110 level here will be a key resistance area, and we can see why a breakout from this area would propel the markets towards somewhere around 6,250 and 6,300. So what happened to the dailies? Last week, we were looking for either a Fibonacci from here, but most likely we were going to hit 60-70, which we did. The markets didn't even dip to the 0.38 fib. So support level here at 5,930, which corresponds to these previous levels here, is going to be a key area moving forward. So where are we so far, right? Resistance at 6,100, support at 5,930. So we've consistently closed above the 50-day EMA. So this is a beautiful flag formation which sets us up for a potential continuation towards this consolidation area here. So watch out how the markets will react if it does. But at this point, it looks like pullbacks would most likely be met with buy demand now. So for this week, I'm seeing some promising setups on a lot of stocks. Let's look at them one by one. We have Ayala Corp. See here the breakout from these levels here. Wait for the retest and bounce if you want to do a quick swing trade or if you want to start accumulating. Now SM also breakout here, but this is a heavy consolidation area. Let's see if it manages to have a follow-through day. Maybe it can pull back and bounce on its way to 764. See how price reacts coming into this week. DMC still struggling with the resistance area here. This will be key. The MCI needs to break this resistance area to make its way slowly through all of these resistances to 1094. GT cap breakout of this area here, a good buy signal, wait for retrace, and then you can also start accumulating for GT cap. Slowly, LTG holding on to the 15 peso level. It might see some selling pressure as the X date is on December 1. Let's see how price reacts on Monday. So AGI also breaking out of this level here, breakout, retest. If it bounces off of the 7 peso support level, you could probably enter a swing trade with a price target of 766. Now, if you do enter that trade, that would look something like here. If you enter here at around 708, put your stop loss somewhere around here, price target at 765. So that would be a 4 risk reward ratio. Not such bad odds. So we'll see if that trade materializes. For Ayala Land, it hit resistance, retrace. Will it hit support, 1917, bounce back, or will it form a double bottom, or will it continue to go down? Watch for price action to confirm if it's on its way to a reversal here. So SMPH breakout, this is a consolidation area. It needs to convincingly break out of 2345 for a more bullish setup. But so far, SMPH looking good. RLC, again, congratulations if you were able to enter here a couple of weeks ago when we said this was a possible buy the dip. So far, holding on to the 1594, 1566 level. Our price target is 1654. Let's see what happens there. Of course, the REITs still presenting some opportunities to add to your REIT positions if you choose to do so. A REIT, RCR, C-REIT, all at very good buy levels. No? So for banks, BDO consolidating here. Our next resistances to watch out for is 135 and 134. A breakout here would mean a target of around 146. DPI hit resistance, pulled back a bit. Let's see if it retest 111 or better yet 113. Let's see what happens. So if it bounces off of these levels, we will have some targets here at 124 and 127, right? So Metrobank setup not looking good. Let's see if it manages to hold support here for at least for a chance of a higher low. But so far, the setup not as good as BDO and BPI. Of course, with gold surging to 4,200 and even silver hitting all-time highs, our gold place surged last week. This was a good entry here after the bounce from the retest of support. If you were able to catch this entry, actually you can still enter here, right? If you were able to catch this, congratulations. Felix Mining, same scenario. After this bullish run consolidation, this was a good chance to enter. Congratulations if you were able to do so. OGP also, it held the 38 fib support here. The bounce back here presented a good opportunity to add. So congratulations if you were able to do so. Now looking at the consumer names, JFC, yeah, let's see if it can hold this support level. If not, possible double bottom for JFC. Let's wait for a better indication of a reversal setup. Pure Gold still doing pretty well. Price target again 44, 44.70. CNPF also along with Pure Gold, one of our stock picks from a few weeks ago, still on its way to 41.10. Meanwhile, AP still holding on to this level price target here at 44.55. Manila Water doing quite well. Same flag formation here. 39.40 next price target. If it breaks out of 40, then 42 would be our next price target. Lastly, the telcos, right? Globe hitting the 0.38 fib. Let's see if it can have a follow through day and break out of this resistance here at 1650. Next target would be at 1750. PLDT, maybe still some ways to go here. Let's see if it can test the support here at 1240 or 1250. Meanwhile, Converge breaking out of this resistance level, which is now support. This breakout is actually very significant because look at the gap between here and the next resistance area. So buy on breakout for Converge. This could mean somewhere around a 20% upside, guys, right? If it follows through. So congratulations if you were able to catch the breakout here for Converge. Lastly, we have Cebu Pacific breaking out of this level. It hit resistance here. Watch out if Cebu Pacific will be able to break out of 3110. Let's see if this trade materializes in the next few weeks. Now, guys, remember that the most of these stocks are still trending down and resistances are still stacked against it. But some key resistances have been overcome, which has become support. So you can do a quick swing trade or you can slowly accumulate, for the long term. But overall, markets looking better so far. So on to the global markets. While the Philippines got a triple B plus affirmation, bullish calls are starting to hit Wall Street, which includes an 8,000 target for 2026 from Deutsche Bank. JP Morgan estimates a more modest growth at 7,500 and Morgan Stanley estimating 7,800 for the S&P. This despite the AI bubble debate, which stems from the large discrepancy between capex spending from large cap tech sector dominated by AI companies and mid-cap companies with an actual decline in capex. So see, how the two sectors have been closely correlated up until the AI hype, with more Americans reportedly losing jobs to AI. Job postings have deteriorated to a level just 2% above pre-pandemic levels. And look, right, there's no indication that the trend is going to bend soon. But despite the negative indicators, stocks rebounded sharply last week as traders increased their bets that the Fed will cut interest rates at its December meeting, now less than 2 weeks away. Let's look at the S&P 500. The US markets, also rallied behind renewed confidence in the AI trade amidst a shortened trading week as US markets celebrated Thanksgiving. The S&P 500 dipped to the 100-day EMA, which has provided strong support through most of the years, and investors continued to buy the dip along that level. Now zooming into the 2-hour charts, see how the 6,780 level was a key resistance area, and the breakout here signaled a pivot into a more bullish setup coming into this week. So this gives the market a chance to retest the next resistance here at 6,880 and possibly 6,925. I've shown you how you can use the TradingView stock screener to find some cheap names in the PSE, as well as filter some fundamentally sound companies in the Philippines. And you can also use this for global markets like the US. Now, the New York Stock Exchange has around 8,000 companies. So how do you find good names? This is how we find fundamentally sound companies we can consider investing in as an alternative to local stocks. So we see here the screener is set up for the US markets. We select primarily listing, but you can also find good stocks in Japan, Canada, Hong Kong, even in the UK. Now what we did is we are filtering big caps, right? Market cap of at least 10 billion, revenue growth, trailing 12 months should be at least 15%. Your return on equity should be at least 15%. It should be trending upwards. The 50 EMA, 100 EMA, and the 200 EMA should be below its price. Operating margins of at least 15%. Full year revenue should be more than, at least more than 2 billion US dollars. And these are the results of the screener. So you can see here some names in the US markets that you can consider. You see some names are already in my portfolio: AppLovin, Broadcom, Eli Lilly, Insight Corporation, Micron Technology, for Solar, Constellation Energy. And look at how they have done year to date. So there are some pretty impressive names here. Next Power, see, 20% CAGR growth, 17% margins, 33% ROE. Very good numbers here. So you can use this to discover new names. Simply select all of the names and you can actually create a new watch list for that. US stocks, November, and then you can save that and you can now look at their charts one by one. So you can, let's go to the US stocks in November. Okay, so now you have a list of names that you can scroll. You can look at their information, their financials, what they are all about, and then decide if you want to invest in these companies. So I usually run this screener once or twice a month to discover one or two good names and add that to my portfolio. So far, the picks have been very solid. I'm pretty happy with the results. Not all picks will be successful, and that's where risk management comes in, right? So hopefully that can help you discover new names and diversify your portfolios, no, and see opportunities outside of the local market. So coming into next week, we have some economic data to look forward to. Monday, we will have our S&P Manufacturing PMI. We are barely expanding, 50.1. Let's see what the results are for November. The US ISM Manufacturing PMI still shows a contraction. Analysts are expecting more contraction for November. No, ISM Services PMI will be due on Wednesday, and on Friday we will have our inflation numbers as well as the inflation numbers, delayed inflation numbers in the US for September. So let's see what happens there. So again, for this week, remember that most of these names are still trending downwards. While most of the price action shows a breakout from resistance levels, still wait for confirmation, wait for retest of those levels, and then enter cautiously. You can either do quick swing trades or you can accumulate for long-term investment. So that's it for this week. Please like this video if you found the information useful. Please subscribe to the channel for more updates. And again, good luck on your trades. Please manage your risk accordingly. And I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.